number one, that you're normal in business, right? Because if you talk to anybody else, it's pretty lonely, right? Like, there's
What
not
do you mean by normal?
well,
Describe this normal thing.
Yeah, this normal thing. In order to keep it going, what would be the next move you would have taken before you let it go?
I mean, at that point, I didn't know about marketing, and I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know like
So
enough
you
to
were
be
on
dangerous.
referrals and
I
testimonials.
was all on that word of mouth, repeating referral wave.
Which is marketing.
It is.
It's just a
It's
sliver
a small
of it.
But
portion.
you know what annoys me? And I don't know, just my high D on the disc profile. I know that the heart behind people saying this is pure, but people go, I'm all word of mouth. And I'm like, how long will that last? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Experience. That was the first time I actually just tried that on my cell phone. I actually did pretty good.
What do you mean on your cell phone? You play music on your
I
cell
played
phone?
music on the cell phone, put it up to the mic.
Oh.
I just wanted to be cool. I
Yeah.
actually had a DJ in the background, like if we actually had a producer.
That's a really good song for like movie scene changes and stuff.
It
and
is.
switches.
Like with action
So.
movies.
Anyways, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jared Taylor, and I have with me Coach Joe,
Coach Joe.
a.k.a. Joseph Caro.
Joseph Caro. Or, if you're my Filipino mom, Josep.
And he's with Action Coach SKC. And I am with JT Visuals without the I, because there's more than meets the eye. We specialize in the video content that helps brands really get attention. And we have with us someone special who I've been partnering with, and Joe's been getting to know as well.
Yep.
And we're not going to say who he is because we forgot his name. I'm kidding, no. All right, we have Vince Neal with us with Brand and Go KC. So this episode's going to be all about his story and branding and the KC and marketing, whatever's in his head there. Let's tap into that.
Yeah.
Double tap.
And if you're new to this podcast, really what the Entrepreneur Experience is all about is just hearing stories from other entrepreneurs at different levels of business. So that way you as a listener can find, number one, that you're normal in business, right? Because if you talk to anybody else, it's pretty lonely, right? Like, there's
what do you mean by normal?
Well,
describe this normal thing.
Yeah, this normal thing. You're normal if you run into challenges and you feel like you want to just give up and you feel like, nothing's ever working. And I'm not saying that it's always like that, but as an entrepreneur, because the percentage of successful entrepreneurs out there are very low compared to the ones that actually do it, or compared to the people that actually go for it. You can't just tap somebody on the shoulder and be like, hey, I need some encouragement about this business that seems like a crazy idea to you. If you talk to anybody, you can get very discouraged. And so sometimes we just don't talk to anybody. So this podcast is for you to find encouragement, to hear stories, even to find strategy, because we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the lessons that we learned, and hopefully something came out or comes out in that, and you can find a great takeaway.
Yeah, I think last episode, if you listen to it, is all about how to start a podcast. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to that one. It was a really good one. And I'm just real excited for what we've been doing with the Entrepreneur Experience overall.
Yeah.
This is our main show. Welcome to the main show.
The main show.
This is the thing that we want to keep
Beastie
going.
Boys is the intro music. Now I set that tone.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, there you go.
And
then so we're throwing in some other little specific shows within the Entrepreneur Experience, but it's all under the umbrella of entrepreneurship. And
no, that's amazing. So Vince, what's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
Going well. What about you?
It's going great. Yeah.
Nice. So we're gonna hear about you, your story, what you do, how you help people. But I think what really, really helps is just to kind of hear your overall entrepreneurial experience, because sometimes people see things from the outside looking in and they only see the success that they see now. And they don't see the journey, those nights that you stay up awake all night, the fights between you and your spouse because there's something going on.
No, never.
And if you're... Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think you're the right person for this show. No, right. Make up something.
You mean no, they never see it.
They never see it, yeah. But before we do that, let's do the icebreaker, because our coffee... I'm sorry. Our audience... I know. Our audience seems to be divided between tea and coffee, so we just have to know.
And I've even changed my answer, too.
I know.
It does change. I think it changes sometimes.
What are you currently?
Currently coffee, yeah, I think.
How do you guys change?
I mean, sometimes I'm wanting more of a herbal fix, you know, and but a lot of times it's just like get some good old, you know, tar in there going.
So when you drink tea, does your pinky stay up like this?
I think it has to.
You do?
You gotta be fancy, you
You
know.
gotta be fancy with tea.
For change, it's the
Spot
formula,
of
you know.
tea. Yeah.
A cup of tea.
Yeah,
Cup of
right,
tea.
mate.
Yeah. So what's your go-to with tea? Like what type of tea do you like?
Just some green tea is good. Matcha maybe.
Ooh,
Maybe some matcha, you know, get fancy with it.
Dude, have you been to HTO? Not a sponsor, but HTO. If someone there is listening, please
And you
send
want
us.
to sponsor us.
Send some love.
We'll even try it on the show. Sample some things.
Yeah, we'll drink it on the show. What about coffee? What's your favorite brand?
Coffee. I mean, I like pour overs. As far as brand,
You are a fancy guy all around.
Pour over.
Pour over.
Yeah.
pour overs.
I got one of those funnel things too.
You
But
do?
I do get down on the Dunkin' Donuts coffee too. You know, you
Okay.
gotta keep
find
that on
Dunkin'
sugar.
Donuts. I
No
find
sugar. I do it black.
Okay, I think that's the
nothing
only way to
else.
do it at Dunkin'.
Dude, if you get
It's better
Dunkin'
than
Donuts,
Starbucks, I think.
I feel like it's liquid diabetes. Like, it's
Diabetes?
just nothing.
Oh,
but
if you're getting
sugar in
donuts,
that.
yeah.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Well, the coffee just is sweet.
Yeah, that's
Like
what I
the-
mean.
I'm just
lattes
talking
and stuff?
about
He
getting
just
it
got-
made. I make it at home, so it's just
that
straight
brand
coffee. I'm not
guy.
talking
from the
about
brand of
buying
Dunkin'.
iced coffee from Dunkin'. But
Yeah.
Okay.
And their
Yeah,
donuts
yeah.
suck too. Sorry, Dunkin', if you're looking. I just don't like your donuts. But
we're not
well, you said
branding
that you
for
changed.
them.
Are you a tea right now guy or a coffee
No, I'm a
guy?
coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon.
Oh.
and
I like that.
Yeah.
I could hit some tea midday.
Yeah.
I got you for being fancy, but I drink espresso all day.
Oh, dang.
And even before I go to bed.
That's the key.
Is it true espresso?
It's true espresso. It's in the fancy espresso machine. It's Lavazza, the one that you find in Europe. I'm about to go to Europe pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to just going out there and drinking all that
That's the
espresso.
secret to the action.
Yeah, it's just stay caffeinated and hungry.
Yeah.
Stay actionated
Yeah,
with
so-
the caffeine.
Actionated.
Actionated. So, well, Vince, dude, like from a 10,000 foot bird's eye view, like give us the general. Who is this Vince?
Vince Neal, Motley Crue. You know, my parents were rockers. No, not really. It was just my dad's name is Vince,
Yeah.
Italian family. So,
Oh,
on my dad's
bippity-boppity.
side.
Yeah, I don't see the
What's the
Italian.
matter
in
for you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm
forget
a
about
mutt,
it,
but I
forget
mean,
about
my
it.
mom's got the Polish and
Okay.
actually I'm Native American registered, not just Native American
registered, not
by
like-
blood. I'm actually
Oh.
a tribal member of the Chippewa, Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa tribe. So
Do you get money
Interesting.
from them?
no, I don't have
Yeah.
it like that. But yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, you know, talk to us about like the lead up into like how you became an entrepreneur, and you're very successful in what you do, you and your wife. I kind of heard the story during a 1-to-1 not too long ago, but like, you know, for our audience so that they can get context on who you are, what you did. Like, were you always an entrepreneur? How did you start? What got you into it? If you weren't, you know, just go ahead and take some time to talk about that.
So entrepreneurialism for me.
It's hard to say.
I don't even know how to say it. Am I qualified to be one? But anyways, I mean, it's kind of fluctuated through my life. I did start out of high school. I owned a landscaping lawn care business.
Oh.
So I kind of had that. My mom owned her own business with cleaning houses, and so I knew that was an option. I know a lot of people kind of see what their parents do, or in their environment, they see what's available out there. And so I was lucky in that I saw my mom doing that, and I was kind of like, oh man, she has a little bit more freedom. Obviously, she's went through the hard times of building a business, but I feel like that kind of a challenge for me was more exciting than the sitting behind a office desk. But I kind of do that now, but I enjoy doing it. I'm trying to get
With
out
your
of
tea.
It's different.
with my
now.
tea.
With your
It's different
tea.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how I started out. After running that business for a while, realized that I didn't know what it took then. I didn't have an action coach to say, hey, like if you're wanting to go from 2-3 people to having a couple crews on the landscaping bid, these are the steps you're going to have to do before doing other steps to get there, and kind of understanding that. I was young and just naive and excited. But so I ended up not continuing with that after 5 or 6 years, and then had a few jobs in between there, just kind of trying to feel out what I was doing. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, type of deal. And so I worked for some construction companies. Got my feet wet in that concrete. different things like that for a little bit, and
Don't get your
just
feet wet in concrete.
in the concrete. Didn't get stuck, luckily.
Yeah. Well, you're Italian, right? You
Right,
put
concrete
your
shoes
and throw you in the
the
pool.
water. Yeah. But yeah, so I
We don't
realized
endorse mafiaism here, by the way.
I think one of the big things that I realized when I was being, an employee or a contractor working for other people was that I didn't have a lot of the freedom that I wanted and that I saw from what my mom had and what I had for that short time that I was, running the landscape business. Also the, kind of the sky's the limit type of deal.
Yeah.
But with still understanding that, sky is the limit, but there's no floor now when you own your own business too.
No oxygen when you're up there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I realized that I was willing to take a chance and open to it. Got access to some mentors around that time when I decided I was kind of trying to get out of the contractor world personally. And they said, try and make your money from your neck up, not your neck down. And a way to do that would be, creating things through sales, owning your own business. You can do that if you do it right. And so that's when, along the way, I did get into sales first. I worked for a marketing agency for 5 or 6 years as well. Saw some of the ways that they ran things. It was a bigger company, so they had a lot of shareholders that were kind of controlling the way that we were selling and how we were able to help these customers. And I felt like I was really limited. My wife kind of has a similar journey, went through a lot of business, helped scale businesses, and had her initial experience through marketing as well. And so we just kind of decided one day, we were like, we need to take a step out on faith. It wasn't overnight.
Yeah.
We had to, one of us had kept a sales job for a little bit while the other one built the business for a little bit, and kind of went back and forth for about a year to a year and a half. And then we finally, back in 2019, really went full time with the marketing agency. And there's been ups and downs, struggles, obviously, as a business owner. But all in all, like looking back at it, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I recommend that people, if they have access to people who can coach them and help them, navigate that structure of building a business and getting off the ground, by all means, take advantage of it.
That's amazing. Yeah. You have any follow-up questions on that? Because there was a lot.
I know.
That was a lot. So I was,
and I was like, do I jump in right here? But like, it started getting really interesting. So
yeah. So don't you have multiple businesses, or
yeah,
or
we
you just
have
focus on the one now?
we have a few. That's our main business, but we've got some sideline stuff, hobby businesses as well. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And then in Brandon Go, what you said, let me get this right, is that Stacy, your wife, started it,
yes.
and then
So who's the boss?
Who's the boss?
is it
she's the
51%
boss
or
now. The business structure, right?
Yeah.
I always joked it's always so and so is the boss until they don't want to deal with something. Then you become the boss for a small amount of time until you deal with it. And it's like, okay, I'll take that back from you. So
Right. Well, it's like everything that's mine is hers, and everything that's hers is hers.
hers,
yeah.
So, I mean,
Yep.
yeah,
Because that real men don't need anything, right?
we good.
Come
We're
on.
good.
I just need a tarp and some guns.
Maybe
and,
that specific look from your wife, and that's it.
Yeah. Some
it.
guns. You're a gun guy, huh?
Yeah.
That's okay. We could talk about that stuff on this podcast.
Yeah.
What kind of gun guy are you? Like what?
I just have a Beretta 9. So,
Beretta 9. Yeah.
I'll be getting more.
No, there we go. Make more money, right? So,
Yeah.
awesome. So, like, can we unpack that just a little bit, right? Like, you grew up with the example of entrepreneurship through your mom, right? She was self-employed.
Yeah.
She managed her own schedule. She was able to trade her skill for money. I'm sorry, did that go off?
You're good.
So you kind of saw that, you saw the freedom, and you started a landscape company,
Right.
and you brought it to a certain point, but you're like, okay, like, was it more of like, I didn't get the coaching, or was it more of like, this is a little overwhelming. Do I really want to do this type of business?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. I mean, that scaling idea is like, I think a lot of people when they're in business, it's like you're what someone else it comes back to the coach. Like a coach could say like you could make a lot more, but in your head, you're like, I'm capped at this. And so at that point, I hadn't read a bunch of business books, and I didn't understand like really what I could do with a business if I ran it right. And I didn't necessarily have to be the one, swinging a hammer or mowing a lawn or whatever. If I built a business the right way, I could.
So now that you know what you know and you read the books, right? By the way, side note, what's your favorite business book?
Favorite business book, How to Win Friends and Influence
I
People.
love that one.
I mean, that's the starting point. Sales book, Challenger Sale. I think that's the way business is done today.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you know what you know and you read those books, what would you have done if now that you know what you know with the landscaping company, all that stuff like that, in order to keep it going, what would be the next move you would have taken before you let it go?
I mean, at that point, I didn't know about marketing, and I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know like enough.
So you
to
were
be
on
dangerous.
referrals and
I
testimonials.
was all on that word of mouth, repeating referral wave,
which is marketing.
It is.
It's just a
It's
sliver
a small
of it.
But
portion.
you know what annoys me? And I don't know, just my high D on the disc profile. I know that the heart behind people saying this is pure, but people go, I'm all word of mouth. And I'm like, how long will that last?
Yeah,
right?
It's not
Yeah.
scalable.
Because
Or they don't want to scale. They just want to be like, oh, I am where I am, and I just want to own my job.
Or like I said, they don't have a coach that's telling them that their business could make a lot more money if they decided to scale.
Yeah, it's that, but I feel like people want to scale, but you don't know what you don't know, right? You rise to the level of your incompetence, of your ignorance, and that's not a bad word. Like there's certain levels, there's certain things we just don't know. Even though we've been in our industries for such a long time, we'll only grow to that until we learn. But I feel like people say that to say badge of honor, but deep down they're thinking the same thing. Like, how long is this going to last?
Right.
All my clients are elderly people. They're probably going to all die off pretty soon or something like that.
Because in the cold months, or when it's if it's a service industry, lawn care, landscape, they're off for months at a time. Or businesses that could be, if they had some marketing in place, they could at least be getting more than the other guys that aren't doing any marketing over the slower months.
Yeah. Well, I know a junk hauling company in Minnesota, Twin Lakes, whatever, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And he stays super busy during the wintertime because of his marketing and branding attempts before winter hits.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the ramp up.
It's the ramp up. So my philosophy is during slow months, which, guys, if you're in a business where you have seasons, slow is not an emergency. Like, when slow is going to come in most cases, especially out here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you do about it? Or do you give in to everybody? Well, everybody shuts down for the winter, so I should shut down and save up money. I'm like, heck no, man. I'm not. If I had businesses, that's not what I would do.
Right.
Like during the summer times, I would already be ramping maybe fall, ramping up my marketing to get so in demand that I'm like, hey, you know what? We're going to have to come out during the wintertime. Don't worry, we're still in production, all this kind of stuff. And even if you need to give them a special to wait that long, you'll fill up your calendar for the winter. And I was like, when I talked to that person, I was like, whoa, that's genius.
Yeah.
In a state that snows more than us here in Kansas City, that guy stays busy during the winter.
Right.
American business owners are facing a huge challenge. In the first 5 years of business, about 60 to 70% of new businesses will no longer exist. They will fail. The ones who do survive, the second 5 years, half of those business owners will no longer exist either. And this is due to a very, very common challenge. It's called burnout. And people are burning out for many, many reasons. It could be money. It could be lack of knowledge. It could be, not understanding your market. You could write a huge list of what challenges business owners are facing that will cause them to burn out. So I really wanted to make or provide a solution to the potential burnout that you as a business owner may be feeling. It's called Growth Club. These are quarterly workshops I put together to help business owners come together as a community, learn about business fundamentals together, open network, have lunch together, and then enjoy each other's presence, understanding what it truly means to be a business owner. Did you know that our economy rises and falls with the strength or weakness of local businesses? So you're a part of that. My desire is to see all business owners succeed, and that's why Growth Club is a workshop I want you to consider. My next Growth Clubs are on September 13th here in Kansas City, September 20th virtually, and September 27th in San Diego, California. These are dates set aside where you can treat your business like your number one client. A lot of times the business will just take over your life. All of our goals, all of our dreams are tied up around what we want our business to do. But have you ever considered that your business is a financial vehicle to get you where you want to be in life? Think about this. What are your personal goals and ambitions? What do you want to do as a family? What experiences do you want to create with you and your family, with the people you love? What passions do you have? What inspires you? Those are things that are done or are really like put together outside of your business, and your business can be that financial vehicle that gives you the time freedom and the money freedom to get you there. The challenge is most of us don't know how to make that happen. So Growth Club is about learning and then implementing. So we're gonna help you put a 90-day plan together, and you're gonna be around other business owners that will hold you accountable to the goals and dreams that you place for yourself. The topic will be about going back to the basics, how to reinforce your business foundation, or how to even build your foundation from the start so you can scale properly without burning out. So I want you to put those dates in your calendar, whether you're in the Midwest for Kansas City, whether you can only join virtually, or whether you're on the West Coast for San Diego, California. I would love to see you there. If you're really passionate about making your business successful, just register, just make the investment. You will not regret it. I hope to see you there soon. Stay strong.
Image. It's all about the image. The stories, the feelings, the perception of yourself, and how others see it is all within the image. That's why the most effective approach to connect and engage with your clients is with video. In a world filled with pictures and videos, there are relatively few content creators who understand how to develop material that not only conveys your story, but also is meant to specifically communicate with your audience, enhance engagement, and encourage call to actions with maximum ROI. At JT Visuals, we will build on your general idea and develop professionally made content with a purpose for promoting your business, products, live event captures, event highlights, content specifically for your website, testimonials, and communication. With special attention and care for your vision and our passion for visuals, we become more than just a service to you. We are a team with solutions and expertise generating the absolute best value in Belton, Raymore, and areas of Kansas City. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then what are your videos saying about you? Visit jtvisuals.com and get started today online.
Without the eye. So Vince, I got a really, really interesting question to ask you. Are you ready for this? This question is going to blow everybody's mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
have never heard it before.
Never heard of it. I want to know what your definition of success is.
So,
right, guys?
right here.
Question. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for me, I really like to look at what, at the end of my life, what kind of legacy did I leave? What kind of people I've helped? The fulfilling things in life. Obviously, money is a factor. It's something that we have to create and we have to sustain. But I think at the end of the day, my description of success really comes down to what kind of fulfilling things, experiences I was able to do, people I was able to help along the way, and I really want to be able to help younger people, kind of mentor people and get them to where they can see that they're worth a lot more than they think they are, and so that's fulfillment to me. And so if I can set things into place for my family to free up more of my time for things like that.
Wow.
Then I'll look back on a life well lived.
So a life well lived.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot in that. Want to unpack that?
I mean, there's too much to unpack. That's a whole can of worms. But yeah, it's just more. That's why we're all in business in the first place. Really, is it's just all about people. It's all about it. Like, I don't want to say it's all about us. Like it's just more about how we live our life and having that peace and where that gets us in building God's kingdom. And
yeah, for sure. Well, you said something that really resonates with me because the idea of creating experiences wasn't something I thought about. I grew up so poor, right? Like from age very young to like into middle school, it was all about like just being able to survive financially with my parents and all that kind of stuff. Like we were really, really broke. Then I started realizing, hey, all of my friends that are wealthy, their parents are business owners. So I started dreaming a little bit and stuff like that. But even as a business owner, I mean, I failed my first 8 businesses. And then when I had a successful one, I did not know how to stop working because I associated with work means no poverty, right? Like to where I lost a lot of years with some of my older daughters, right? And then my coach, when I finally got a coach, she's like, somebody once told me on your deathbed, I don't want to look back and say, wow, I lived a safe life. I want to look back and say, wow, that was a fun life. Those are some awesome experiences. And for some reason, the word experiences resonate with me because I remember dreaming as a kid, knowing that I was poor and always having dreams that I would do things that the rich people did. Take those vacations. I would open up magazines and see these exotic places to go. And I dreamt that I would do that, but back in my mind, I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be able to do this. So now that I started making money, it's like I want to build experiences.
Stuff's possible.
Exactly, extremely possible. So when you said experiences, like that, just it flashed back and kind of got me teared up a little bit,
Yeah.
But you're right, Jared. At the end of the day, everybody has a very, very specific reason why they start business. I mean, you don't start something with a very high failure rate for nothing, just to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
You don't.
It's usually all about solving problems for people
Mhm.
or who you sell to.
Yeah.
Like even like dogs, like get into like pets and stuff. Well, that's not for people. Well, it is. You're selling to the owner, like
Yeah.
for the owner to like it with their dog, and like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just it's all about like a problem, and that's why businesses exist. It's like go back to the original days. It was more just trades, and then
Bartering,
like hey, I'll give you some videos if you give me some chiropractic care or something like that, like
yeah.
because I need it, like.
Yeah.
But
And
back
that's
in
how
the
you do
day,
it with your food. That's what you do with
yeah,
shelter. That's what you do with all that
and
kind
then
of
money
stuff.
became the in between tool, the medium, and it just somehow became accepted because it represented gold, and everyone wanted gold.
Yeah.
They were told it
But
represented gold.
Told it.
yeah,
They were told that.
and we
Remember,
were told it
gold used
backed
to be
by it.
illegal to own
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not till recently we were allowed to actually have physical gold in our safe.
Yeah. And France tried to come and get it. If you remember that France tried to come and get it, and the U.S. said we're not giving any of it because we owed them from the war.
Mm-hmm.
And God's just up here like, you guys
I know.
after this, it's so
He's like,
soft. It's just gold. Like,
yeah.
it's not even the hardest material I made.
You
Like,
can't eat it.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I don't know. I mean, I think that gold was one of those things from a long time ago. They're like, ooh, shiny, ooh, value. I'll trade this for you. You know what I mean?
it was
Yeah.
just somehow mutually accepted worldwide that
Yeah.
it was.
Well, it's like
the thing.
diamonds are the same thing. It's like I heard, I don't know if it was a documentary or something. It was saying that like diamonds are pretty common, but the whole reason that they're so expensive is from the marriage industry.
Yeah, and the marketing is that it's a scarce thing or
Right.
something, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's so scarce. There's a lot of bloodshed around it.
That's true.
Dude,
That's true.
makes me think of that actor. What's his name? He didn't win an Oscar for a long time.
Was it for that movie Blood Diamond?
Blood
Blood
that guy,
Diamond,
like,
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Blood Diamond. Yeah.
Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio?
DiCaprio.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, take this segment to let us know what you and your wife actually do. What does Brandon Go, and specifically, what are the problems that you guys provide solutions for?
Yeah. So with Brand and Go, a big thing that we look at, we like to sit down and get to know, potential people who we might end up working with, really get to know what kind of struggles they have in their business. We like to offer a full on strategy that's for their marketing specifically that leads to revenue. A lot of marketers sometimes get into this position where they're just pitching a product or a fulfillment aspect of what they're doing, and we like to really get down to the strategy and what really moves their business, what their target market is, and find out what strategies are going to work best for them specifically,
Right.
and keep their coffers full. So
Yeah.
That's cool. And what's one of the things that we really bonded over this one thing when we first met, and it's something called funnels.
oh yeah,
Funnels.
yeah.
Like
Funnels,
funnel cake?
dude,
I
that would be a
mean,
good that would be
name
a
for
good
a
name.
funnel
Yeah,
team. Yeah.
look it up, like funnelcake.com. Like, I'm
Funnelcake.com.
sure that's
Shh,
taken, but
don't put it out
So
there.
these
Let's
guys are
use
the
that.
marketing nerds.
Yeah.
I just want the funnel cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want actual cake. Anybody have that?
Oh, dude, funnel cakes are good when you're hungry, but
Just overpriced at theme parks. But anyways, that's a tangent. Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
so
dough fried and powder.
so funnels in marketing, I mean, obviously there's different things that you can call it, but at the end of the day, you think about your business and in regards to your marketing, you're wanting to cast a wide net. The top of the funnel should be wide. Obviously, you need to know what your target market is so that you can cater each one of those what we call funnels that are going to bring people through, into your acquisition system for your business. But really, ultimately, we're wanting to spread out to where people that are looking for your types of services are going to be looking, and taking whether it's video content on the front end and having ways that we're able to qualify them along the way to make sure that they fit the mold as they come down that funnel. To create a system in your business that is kind of like where you can turn it on and off, and you can switch it around to different markets that you want to target and really maximize what you're doing as a business owner.
Yeah.
And what we've started to call funnel is really just landing pages
Yeah.
for
That's part of
websites,
it. Part of the
like it's
funnel,
part
yeah.
of it. And those are really cool, and they do that with Brandon Go KC.
Yeah.
And so we started bonding over that because I started realizing what it is and what it does, and this CRM system called Go High Level. And then he started like geeking out and nerding out and telling jokes, and I was like, dude, that's me too. Like,
Yeah.
I like to nerd and geek out and tell jokes
And tell jokes while we're nerding and geeking out.
yeah, and like some things that go over people's heads, but you just have to say it anyways.
Imagine how I feel when I'm sitting in the room with them talking. I'm just,
101011.
what is one mistake or one thing that a lot of clients overlook that gives them a result with their branding and marketing that they probably didn't want? So a negative result.
So that can come in a lot of different ways. I'd say one of them would be having, being unclear about their target market.
Oh, boom. That's a good one.
Not knowing who they're just kind of just firing from the hip, and hopefully, hoping something lands.
Yeah. Before you go into the next one, can you in 2 minutes or less, can you like explain how you can find your target market?
Yeah, I mean, there's really a lot of things that can go into that. Really, some of the things that go into that for us personally is, how can we help that person the most? The types of people that we can help the most. Other things that you can look at is what the life, how long you're able to help someone like that. If you're looking for someone that you're going to partner with for 2 to 5 years, then you're going to have to cater that towards the type of businesses that are going to need that kind of help for 2 to 5 years, I guess, specifically in marketing. But yeah, figuring out what your target market is really doing a deep dive on the people that you feel passionate about helping. If you sat down with them and you looked at them face to face, you looked each other in the eyes and shook hands and felt like you guys were doing what's best for each other's families, that's going to be your target market, I think. So.
Okay. How important is it to be very specific about that? Like, some people say like you have to build an avatar, something you can physically see in your head. But like, how important is it to be very specific and as detailed as possible about your target market. Like, how does that help the process of branding and marketing?
Well, I mean, when you start looking into lead sources, if you're trying to automate some of that stuff, it's extremely valuable to know exactly how you're going to be very granular to pinpoint the type of search that's going to generate the right type of
Oh, yeah.
leads. But in general, as you know, if you're not quite there yet and you're just kind of networking and things like that, I think it's really important to really look at, building that. They call it a persona or an avatar.
Yeah.
What their fears are, what your potential prospects' fears are, what their ambitions are, what they're ultimately wanting out of life. Not just with with the problem that you solve specifically,
Right.
but looking at a more holistic view of what they want out of life and out of what they're trying to do with their business. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Why do you think it works?
It works because then they know that you're authentic, like you actually care about them. This isn't just marketing, it comes down to sales as well. It's like you're solving a problem for them. And if they feel like you're coming in to solve a problem and you're not just trying to get a quick sale, they appreciate that, and they want to build a relationship that way that's long term. And I ultimately, for us, that's what we're after, is long term
Yeah.
relationships with people. So
That's right. Yeah.
Have you read
You
that?
got it right.
You
I'm just kidding.
Boom.
No.
No.
Have you read that book, Gap Selling?
I haven't, but I know Action Coach Joe. That's something I
did I
need
tell
to
you
do.
that?
You told,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's right.
you told me about
Dude,
it.
like, it talks about selling to a problem versus selling to a need,
Yeah,
right? Like, people will reach out to you because they
Mm.
feel like they have a need, right? Like,
right.
nobody just comes and says, I should just make a video just because, right? But like,
Right.
if they notice that their videos look like crap or comments were made on social media about that, then it's like, okay, I feel like I have a need to make professional videos. And if you just sell to the need, you might convert because they may have convinced themselves to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but you've lost an opportunity to truly find the deeper root issue of why that video is necessary.
Yeah,
And if they don't do it, what is the long-term large effects that it would negatively have on their business if they don't do it? And so you may or may not get the sell just to sell to the need, but you lose out on, number one, converting better and converting and retaining longer.
right.
There's something. I have
Yeah,
a little theory because with my mom is totally not watching this. There's no way she is.
Hi, Mom.
Oh,
But
sure.
even if she did, it's not anything bad. But for my mom, she is a little bit more on the sensitive side, and it's so easy to give her like a nice word of encouragement and get her to cry, because all you got to do is acknowledge where she is,
Yeah,
and you got to spend more than like one sentence on it.
right.
So it's almost like the same thing with
Yeah.
the problems or the niche marketing. It's like people just want to feel understood, and then if you really relate to them, then they feel like you're the one that
Yeah,
can get them out of it.
yeah.
And they won't
Or
even ask for price in a lot of cases.
Right. Yeah, we've actually been experiencing that lately, and not that they're not asking, but getting to the point where we're like, yeah, we feel really good about working with you, and then we'll figure out what things need to look like to shape things up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I did want to say back to the some more things that entrepreneurs kind of struggle with that we've seen in regards to their marketing is a lot of people, they know they need a website, so they've got a website, but they don't necessarily know like what kind of traffic they're getting, what's
Yeah.
actually happening. Are these people actually making, like, going and trying to reach out? Is there a way for them to fill out their contact info? Those kind of things. And so there's like a leak that's just coming out of their system.
Yeah.
And so something that we like to recommend people do is have a way to see what's going on there, and kind of nurture and hold your prospect's hand through the process of establishing a relationship with you. And so yeah, that's something that we've seen a lot, that we've been able to help with. So
Yeah.
And that's one of those examples though, like
start the
a
funnel.
need or a problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people know that they need a website because they're told and influenced by other people. But if they understood the true problem of without a website, then it would become more effective because they would know more of what they want, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because like you can have a website just to have it, and it can function just to like send your word of mouth people to it,
Right.
with a business card. And usually
Yeah.
that's the start of a website.
Yeah.
But if you want the website to work for you, You got to do the work to get the work to work for you.
Yeah.
You gotta do the work to get the work.
I always say that a website is kind of like a billboard. You know,
Oh, there you go.
if a billboard's chilling in the middle of the woods, and there's not a highway by it, nobody's seeing it. So if you have a website that's awesome, it has all the bells and whistles, but it isn't in a spot where it's getting traffic,
Yeah.
You know who does it really well? Buc-ee's. Do you ever drive down to Texas?
Nope.
You never done it?
No.
Okay,
Like
it's been a
someone
while.
brought up
It's
Buc-ee's
been a
the
while.
other day,
Okay,
and I
so
was like,
listen,
"What's
listen,
Buc-ee's?"
guys.
And they're like, "You haven't taken your kids
So
to
Buc-ee's
Buc-ee's?"
is
Okay.
this gas station that's part restaurant, part store with the cleanest bathrooms ever in Texas. We're driving in Texas, and see, Buc-ee's is not as common as Quick Trip. Quick Trip, any exit you take, you might run into a Quick Trip, right? Buc-ee's they have like 100-mile difference between both of them.
Maybe I
But you know what they
haven't
do that? They have a billboard that says Buc-ee's 100 miles away.
Right.
And then you keep going on the Buc-ee's
75
miles away. And we're holding in our piss because we don't want to go pee anywhere else other than
Yeah.
Buc-ee's. We're like, okay, another 100 miles, another this.
Dude, I don't know if they've expanded, but like we went somewhere that what you're describing when we were on our way north to Michigan.
Oh, I don't know.
And
if
we
it's that.
stopped there, and it was like, it was huge on the inside. You could tell it was a whole experience kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that copied Buc-ee's. And I don't know. When I
Yeah.
went to Texas to visit my brother-in-law, I experienced Buc-ee's. But
Nice.
yeah, that whole billboard thing. But they already know that people that drive through Texas, if they're, they've probably heard about Buc-ee's, and it's an experience, it's an anticipation,
Yeah.
it's this, it's that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen a McDonald's sign that's not just a McDonald's sign, but it says, eat fresh, beautiful burger, and here's an arrow 2 miles down that way. Just go that way.
Right.
You'll find them. So there's call
Yeah.
to action.
I see a Freddy's one all the time. Makes me
Yeah.
want Culver's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Because I see it and it
Yeah.
reminds me of Culver's.
That's awesome.
I wanted to say one other thing too. Along that same vein is a lot of times the question is, okay, if someone doesn't fill out form fill, get their information, get your information, or give you a call to do business with you, what happens then? And so if you have some strategies that you're basically able to capture that information, what if someone does get you on the phone and they end up not becoming a client right now for whatever reason? If you're able to capture their information, have it in your database, you can
gosh.
start developing a relationship with them. They might end up going with someone else, but then maybe 2 years down the road, you've been hitting them with some drip campaigns and emails that show that you're out there, that you care, and
Yeah.
they tell them happy birthday if you're able to get that information too, and just start developing a relationship that way. They might end up being a client later. It's always like,
Yeah.
it might
Or
be
they
a
might
no
refer
right
somebody
now.
to you because somebody's asking
sure.
for a question. They're like, oh yeah, I keep getting emails from these guys and everything.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to open the email. They could just read the subject line, then erase it, but then always see your brand come up.
Right.
That's a good one. Data seems to be the most valuable thing to collect. But anyways, dude, Vince, it was such a pleasure having you on this podcast,
Thanks.
bro. Threw in a lot of insight, interesting story of how you started, and I'm glad that you're in this journey of helping the entrepreneur win.
Yeah.
I feel like that's important because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who end up failing. I mean, it's a high failure ratio. A lot of it's because of burnout.
What is it,
and
5 years?
The first 5 years, about 67% of new businesses will fail. And the ones who survive the first 5 years, the next 5 years, half of those people will be gone. And that's a Forbes magazine.
So what, make it past
statistic.
10 years and you're good?
I mean, you have a higher chance. Yeah.
Or
that's all I gotta
you're just
Or it's
really
just a
have
hobby.
high pain tolerance.
It's
Yeah.
Or
They say that
it's-
with podcasts for 21 episodes.
Okay, so which one
21
are
is
we
the
on?
average, and you're in the top 3% of podcasters if you make it past 21 episodes.
Let's go.
Okay. Well, and I learned the other day, sitting in this guy Joe's class,
Oh,
that
my
the
workshop.
reason for that is burnout.
Yeah. The main
Yeah.
reason for business failures, they attribute it to burnout.
Yeah.
So and that's why we do this podcast is for, you might be watching or listening, and for whatever reason, you might be in a great mood, motivation might be high, motivation for some of you might be low, and we don't have a problem in America about making money. Like most businesses die because of indigestion rather than starvation. We have no systems in place. We get overwhelmed. We don't trust people. We have this old school attitude of, well, if it has to get done right, it has to be done
me.
by me. And great. Well, then now you are the business and
That's
you
my
own your
own
unique
a
job.
selling
job.
proposition.
Yeah.
Right. And so you want to market yourself as you as the expert, then good luck. You'll never have a business. You'll never have a vacation. And if you do, you'll lose money,
Yeah.
and so that's why
Yeah.
burnout becomes so real out
Yeah.
here. So
I would say a big thing too to people who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. We talk about this. Yeah, there's a lot of struggles, but again, it's so worth it if that's your prerogative. And the biggest thing is get attached more to the results that can be created. Obviously, fall in love and embrace the process of getting there. But a lot of my immediate, whenever I do something that stretches me or challenges me, I think about the result of me growing and getting better, not the fact that I'm doing the thing that isn't comfortable.
yeah,
Like I'm a completely different man than 3
Mhm.
years ago.
Oh,
yeah,
Actually, even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I could even go to 1 year. It's like it's just
oh yeah,
ever evolving as my business is evolving, and I'm
Yeah.
changing as a person for the better, I think.
yeah, absolutely.
So, hey Vince, so what's a way that people could follow you if they want to know more or anything?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Go KC is our
Is that
website.
Brandon? Like, let's go Brandon? Or is that
and-
like
brand BRAND and go.
and gokc.com or just brandkc.com if you want it simple.
Really?
Yeah, we've got a
Nice.
subdomain that
Couple domains. There we
That's
go.
good. That's what I was looking up on my phone earlier
makes it
too.
easier.
Domains.
I was trying to buy the domain totallyhotguy.com, but it just didn't work.
Who has it?
Somebody
it's
does,
probably
but-
expensive,
Yeah.
But yeah, so brandongokc.com, brandkc.com, on Facebook, Brandon Go KC, Instagram, same thing. And then, LinkedIn, Vincent Neal, Stacy Neal's my wife. She's awesome. So
Yeah. Much nicer than he is, though.
much nice.
So
Keeps me in line.
keeps you in line. Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Entrepreneur Experience. Tonight we have JT,
JT,
Joe Q,
Joe Q,
Vince Neal.
Vince
Boom.
Neal.
It was a pleasure to serve all of you guys. Put in the comments what your greatest takeaway was. Also, put in the comments where you're listening from. We have some listeners from around the United States now, so it'd be really, really nice to kind of know where you're from. And if there's a topic that you're desiring to hear or some type of entrepreneur that has a specific niche, let us know. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. And as always, make sure and keep on keeping on.
Stay strong, guys.
Do you got a
Boom.
little sign off line?
He just said boom.
Boom. Keep that.
Boom. All right.
That's my
Sweet.
thing from now on.
Yeah.
Boom.
Good job, JT.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.